You are listening to the Legends Lingo podcast, brought to you by CouchGuySports.com. With your host, Al.
Buddy, you were targeted 6 times, you caught 2 receptions, and did nothing else.
Powder.
Yes, sir.
And Fiesta.
He hasn't done jack. They've won one cup and they made a lot of playoff appearances. But he is a snake, oily snake. He's a crook.
Enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Legends Lingo podcast, episode 106, presented by Couch Guy Sports. As always, check out everything on CouchGuySports.com. Check out all the blogs, check out all the podcasts, including ours, obviously Legends Lingo podcast. Amazing other podcasts on the network as well. Check out the YouTube channel where you'll find our episodes, Couch Guy Sports podcast episodes, a bunch of other content going on up there. Take a look at the Twitch channel because we got some big things coming, especially we might have some new streamers, we might have some new content. So we're going in the right direction. That's all that matters. I'm your host, Al Nahigian. As always, I'm joined by Tom Powder Cadmus. Powder, what's up, bud?
Nothing. I have a little bone to pick with you from a comment you made last week.
Okay, I'm slightly intrigued and a little scared. Okay. Okay. Fee, we also have Tom Sam Facette. You may know him as Fiesta. Fee, what's up, bud?
I'm a little intrigued what Power has to say to you now.
I know. I am too. This is a surprise.
You're a little worried.
I am a little bit, but I'm sure it's nothing that bad. So, Powder, the floor is yours.
Last week you said Hank Aaron's the true home run king. What about the greatest hitter of all time, Barry Bonds?
Oh, that was a joke. Take a joke. You knew exactly what I meant, you clown. Sheesh. All that for nothing.
I thought it was going to be something serious here.
I did too. I was like, what? I was like, oh, okay. Then he gives me that Powder. That's it. Put booze in the chat. Boo. You got to put some booze in the chat there.
You know that Jeff where they throw the tomatoes?
Yes. Yes. Literally peppering it with
Yep. That lead up to just that kind of just was like, ugh.
Yeah, that was quite something. But Powder, we appreciate you speaking your mind. We love that about you. But anyways, time to talk about tonight. An all-time Red Sox announced his retirement the other day. We're going to talk about that in a second. A lot of Patriot stuff, some Celtics and Bruins thrown in, and we have an announcement at the end regarding the future of the show. Don't worry, we're still going on. There just might be something happening. But before all that, we are going to get into the roll call for this week. So with the roll call, we have a few MLB tidbits, one being that the MLB has announced that there will be 26-man rosters starting with the season of 2021. The Colorado Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals made a blockbuster deal that sent third baseman Nolan Arenado to the St. Louis Cardinals. In exchange, the Rockies will get 5 players that include 4 prospects, and the Rockies will still be paying $50 million of Arenado's salary. So Nolan Arenado going to the Cardinals. The Cardinals are going to become a wagon in that NL Central, especially with the Cubs downfalling and everything else. I think it's the Cardinals division to lose, but we can talk about that at a future time. A little bit of football to get into. According to Adam Schefter, Super Bowl 55 does have its first COVID issues. Chiefs placed center Daniel Kilgore and wide receiver Demarcus Robinson on the reserve-COVID-19 list due to close contact per source. And finally, the big trade that happened in the NFL between the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams has officially happened. Quarterback Matt Stafford will be heading to Los Angeles in exchange for quarterback Jared Goff, a third-round pick in 2021, and first-round picks in 2022 and 2023. Real quick, just like 10 seconds each. Who do you think won this trade, the Rams or the Lions?
I would say actually it's tough, but I would say the Rams because I think Stafford will have a better career with the Rams and Goff as with the Lions.
Okay, Fee?
It's easy, the Rams. It's the Rams.
I don't know if it's easy. I would say for the short term, yes. The short term, the Rams win this. Stafford, great quarterback. Think he's going to lead that Rams team. The Lions, though, you get Jared Goff as your bridge quarterback, and you got some picks out of it. That's all I'm saying.
No, Goff's not the bridge guy. He's the guy. They literally said that. He's not the bridge guy. He's the guy.
So,
I mean, that's why I was like, that's why I'm like, no, the Rams win. When they said that, I was like, nope, nope. Made a big mistake, especially what was out there that was reportedly out there. I know we can go in more details a little later, but they kind of screwed up. That's my opinion.
That's fair. So we're going to get into some Bruins talk real quick. The Bruins have been playing really good hockey lately. They had an incredible comeback against the Washington Capitals. They were down 3-0, come back with 5 unanswered goals. And they were down the other night 3-0 to the Caps too. And then they ended up losing 4-3 in overtime. Was it overtime or a shootout? I forget.
Overtime.
Overtime. Okay. So they lost in overtime. So they ended up getting 3 points out of a possible 4 out of Washington. So Bruins are 6-1-2 right now. I believe it's 6 wins, 1 regulation loss, and 2 overtime losses. So the Bruins have been playing pretty well. So to sort of give a little more detail on that, we'll kick it to our hockey guy, Fee, for a quick Bruins minute. So go ahead, Fee.
Yeah, the Bruins have been playing good of late, especially since the last time we talked. There was a little concern, but they really did their way with the Penguins and again with the Flyers. Definitely with the Capitals, I was a little shocked, especially both games. Hold a 3-goal lead. Come on. Like, come on. But I will say this. I think the Bruins' Hopi problem is gone. So that's a good thing. Because if you remember, Braden Hopi would always stand on his head. I am concerned that they got down 3-0 in some of those scenarios. But anyways, I will say this. Pasternak yesterday looked like Pasternak that we know. And if he's going to start going off, and especially with the young guys are playing well. I mean, they are. The young defensemen, some of the young guys, I mean, that's kind of what you're looking at now. So that's what I'm looking at. So there's some positive things. I want to see a little more as we go on, but so far, so good.
So far, so good. Bruins are rolling after a slow start, but yeah, the real Bruins are back. So it's kind of nice to see. Quick Celtics tidbit, though. Marcus Smart suffered, it looked like a pretty bad injury to start. Start for Smart, get it? But it looked bad for Smart off the bat. It ended up being a grade 1 left calf strain. This was against the Los Angeles Lakers on Saturday night. He's expected to return in 2 to 3 weeks. Celtics aren't really catching too many breaks to start the season. I mean, you've had a lot happen. Jason Tatum caught COVID. Peyton Pritchard obviously is sidelined right now. Now Smart's sidelined. So I guess it kind of leads into this question that I wanted to ask you guys. So as it stands right now, the Celtics are at 10-8. They're almost done with the first quarter of their season. If you had to give a grade for the Celtics so far this year, and keep in mind everything that we just talked about, everything that I just mentioned, what would their grade be for the first 18 to 20 games of the year? Because I have a grade in mind. So I'll go to Fee first, and then I'll go to Powder, and then I'll end it. So Fee, do you have a particular grade you want to give them?
B. And the reason I give it a B because you have Tatum and Brown. I mean, out of anything, they have elevated their games. There's a bigger sample now that Brown is a legitimate number 2 option. If you got anything from that, that's a positive. They've had some injuries. Feels like they aren't going to get their full squad until mid-February. So, I mean, they're still a top 4 team in the East. So, I mean, I think is going to be very fluid, which I think I wouldn't be too concerned if you're looking at the standings. They're also like 3 or 4 games. They have games in hand. So, and against teams that aren't very good. So they could catch up pretty quickly when they do that. So that's just how I feel. This worldship will be telling. If they can handle their business, they'll be fine.
Powder?
Yeah, I was gonna say B to B plus because when the 2 Jays are healthy, they've been playing, like Fee said, unbelievable. Both of them should be all-stars this year. And and I just think they're playing really well when they have everybody out there. Obviously, they've had some tough losses, some tough breaks with injuries and COVID and everything, which is why they probably have some of the losses they have. But besides that, yeah, they're playing really well. Really well.
Yeah, that's right around what I was going to say. I was going to say B minus, maybe a B. I go right around a B. I think a B is fair, especially like we just said it. They haven't had their full squad. Pritchard's been hurt, and Pritchard's been doing actually really well, especially getting minutes off the bench has been impressive.
I keep going, and I have a thought because there's a rumor out there. So,
I mean, that's basically it. I mean, Pritchard's been playing well. Jason Tatum's taken that rise to being the guy. Jaylen Brown's going to end up being an all-star with the month he just had. He had career highs in points, rebounds, pretty much every category. So, I mean, they're a step in the right direction. The only reason I wouldn't give them higher is because when they did have everybody for the most part, they did have a few bad losses like the Pistons and stuff like that. But other than that, they played pretty well. So with everything considered, I give them a B.
So there's a rumor out there. Have you heard the rumors?
No.
So the Pelicans are calling almost
never mind.
about Lonzo Ball and JJ Redick. Lonzo and JJ. I know a lot of people were saying about JJ, but it seems like they're going to package both. And they called the Celtics, and it seems like the Celtics have some interest. Do you think it would be a good move or not?
See, this is a question that people have been asking. I don't know how Lonzo would quite fit in, honestly. JJ Redick, I think, would be obviously good off the bench. He's a three-point shooter. And I know his three-point shooting percentage has been a little lower than years past, but he's still a proven veteran. He still can provide a spark off the bench. So if there's some way you can find a role for Lonzo, then, I mean, sure, deepen your bench if you have to. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. I would like just Redick. I think he'd be good off the bench. But again, Lonzo makes that trade a little tougher. But another guy that's good, I think, could never hurt.
I mean, I think if you're getting – it would be Lonzo in the sense is that Redick would be the throw-in. I think that Lonzo would be a good pickup for any team. He's a pure point guard. He's not a shoot-first guard. And especially if you really want to give the keys to Tatum and Brown, it makes sense. Especially if you're a little down on Kemba. So, I mean, that's kind of – I mean – if you can move Kemba, I'm all for it because I think Lonzo – I think you might have interest in Lonzo this summer. I think that there's been some whispers on that. Anyway, so, I mean, if you could find something on that, that would be something – that's how I feel because I think Lonzo would complement the Celtics very well because he can play deep. He plays defense pretty good, and he's a pass-first point guard, so he won't be taking shots away from your two best players. That's just my opinion.
No, that's fair. Lonzo, if you get rid of Kemba, obviously, personally for me, I would hate it just because I love Kemba in Boston. I think he's been great since day one, said all the right things, tried to do all the right things, getting in a winning organization for the first time in his NBA career, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. That must have been a great experience for him. But if you bring in Lonzo Ball and he fits in your system better, then do it. I mean, you're trying to win a title.
I mean, it probably won't happen this year, but I'm just saying, like, you kind of saw what the Laker game was a perfect example of what the Celtics are. You know that Tatum and Brown are going to get their back. They need somebody else to step up, and if Kemba's going to have a cold night, you're not going to win those games. And you lost by one. That's just how I feel. I think that Kemba's a very good piece. I just don't think he fits anymore.
And you don't have a Gordon Hayward anymore to rely on if Kemba has a bad night.
And it's just like, I think that because like you're seeing it, the same thing that happened with Hayward when he was here. Big games, Hayward wouldn't show up. He would have flashes. I mean, Kemba's a good player. He makes good plays. He'll rebound even tonight against Golden State. That's a guarantee. I just feel those type of games, I've seen it enough in Boston where it's not good enough. And, I mean, we saw the stretch in the playoffs in the bubble. If he was able to be efficient, didn't need to be push-up shots, but was efficient with the way the Jays are playing, they'll probably go to the NBA Finals. This is my opinion.
I hope the Celtics team does go to the finals. They're a move or two away. I know we say it all the time, but there's a move out there that can get the Celtics over the hump. So we'll see what happens. We do have to talk about the Red Sox now. The specific Red Sox player that we were talking about in the intro was Dustin Pedroia. Dustin Pedroia announced that he is officially retiring from the MLB after a 14-year career with the Boston Red Sox. Pedroia goes out as a 4-time Gold Glove winner, 3-time World Series champion, 4-time All-Star, 2008 MVP and American League MVP, and 2007 AL Rookie of the Year. This guy embodied what it meant to be a Boston Red Sox. He was the dirt dog. He was the guy that was willing to put his body literally on the line every single play. At first, people didn't think he was going to fit in here. He was always told, you're too small. You're never going to amount to anything at Arizona State and then in the MLB. But he did it. And if it's not for a Manny Machado slide into second base, which, by the way, Machado had his spikes up, so nobody can tell me that that was incidental. I don't believe that for a second. You can't convince me otherwise. Dustin Pedroia, I wish he could have played a few more years. Do I think the retirement should have been a little sooner? Maybe. But I can understand his determination and his heart to try to get back to being in the lineup every day. So here are the 3 questions that I want to ask you guys, and I'm going to start with this one. And this one I think should be a no-brainer across the board. Is Dustin Pedroia a Red Sox Hall of Famer? Should number 15 be retired at Fenway? I think that's an easy answer, but I'll let you guys answer it.
Yes, definitely.
In the old, if they went by the old standards, I would say no, but say somebody like Wade Boggs, and then they retired Ortiz's number earlier than expected, then he is going to get his number retired. But if they went by the traditional standard, he actually wouldn't. But
Yeah.
I know the Red Sox have kind of been lenient in recent retirement jersey numbers. So, but overall, they're still one of the premier teams that don't retire everybody like the Yankees or the Celtics. But so that's how I see it. So he will, but if they went by the old way, I don't think it would have been a guarantee, but I think it's a foregone conclusion now.
Okay. So number 2, and I think there's also a pretty clear-cut answer here. Does Dustin Pedroia have any chance of making it to the MLB Hall of Fame?
No. Like,
Okay.
Jared Carrabis tweeted out that Kirby Puckett had a 51.1 WAR and Pedroia had 51.9. So, like, yeah, there's that, but no, his stats do not. His peak wasn't good enough.
I mean, if Pedroia was somewhat healthy and got over 2,000 hits, maybe another Gold Glove and maybe another All-Star appearance,
Yeah.
you can make an argument, because then you could say, because his peak was really good. I mean, 2007 to 13 it was very good. It was after that. I mean, if he made the All-Star team in 16 and somehow got to 2,000 hits, then you can make an argument, because you would be discussing the position at the time of at the second base position during his playing days. The only other better second baseman is Robinson Cano at that time. So you're looking at that, and maybe Chase Utley, but like those 3, like that would be the standard bearer for the position of that generation. But no, it's a clear no. But it's that question: a healthy year or 2, out of the numbers, then you can make an argument. He would definitely be a veteran committee type of guy.
Yeah, and if he was a bigger part or a part of the 2018 World Series, making that ring like more a part of his career than just the Red Sox giving it to him for being Pedroia, then I think, yeah, he would have a much better case.
Okay. So final question, and this is just sort of a memory lane type of question. What is your favorite all-time Dustin Pedroia moment? So I have mine. If you guys want me to go first to give you a little extra time to think, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So my favorite moment, and this, we actually talked about this on Couch Guys Sports Podcast earlier today. So as we're recording on Tuesday, February 2nd, around 7:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we recorded Couch Guys Sports Podcast around 5, so 2 hours ago. I would say that my favorite moment was, I think it was 2017, I'm pretty sure. Red Sox against the Rangers. Wild throw to first base. Pedroia's backing up. Ball just bounces up into his hand, and he just throws a strike right to Mitch Moreland at first base to get the guy taking a turn. And that's the reason it's my favorite, is because that's just who Dustin Pedroia is. Backs up every single play without being asked, and he hustles, and he's a dirt dog every sense of the word. He is a dirt dog, and that could not have been any clearer to me in that play. So that's my favorite Pedroia moment.
I've like 2 that are probably tied. One of them is, I read his book that he wrote. I forget exactly when it came out, but came out during his playing career. And one of the funny moments he talked about was during Clay Buchholz's no-hitter. If you watch the replay, it was like the first batter of the inning. He stuffed his face full of sunflower seeds, and the ball's hit like up the middle, and he has to dive for, and there's seeds like coming all out of his mouth and everything. So it's kind of one of those, like you said, dirt dog moments with him, like making the play, saving no hitter. And then the other one is when he gets stopped by the security guard at Coors Field during the World Series, and the security guard's like, "You're not a Red Sox player," and he's like, "Well, ask Jeff Francis who I am." Yeah.
I forgot about that. That was a funny moment too. I forgot about that. How about you, Fee? Favorite Pedroia moment?
I got two. Game 7, 2007, that home run, bat flip. That's iconic. I think that an underrated moment because the game was still up for grabs. He kind of that was a clutch moment, clutch AB, and the bat flip just was boom. I will say this, another one that I don't think it's a lot of love, but that 3 home run game in Colorado in 2010. I mean, that I think epitomized what Dustin Pedroia was. The man was literally hitting everything in sight. And I mean, that game, 3 homers, made a great defensive play. I know he got hurt a couple of days later with a broken foot, but that I remember very vividly. And I will say that not just a moment, but I always liked it when Don Orsillo would always say La Luna. When Pedroia would always go hit home run. So I always liked that.
That was a good one. Another moment that I just thought of, and this is another moment that nobody remembers. 2013 World Series, Game 3, bottom of the 9th inning. Now, we know that that's the game with the Will Middlebrooks obstruction call, but people forget that Pedroia had to fire a dart to home plate to try to cut the run down. Yeah. And he did. And that
yeah, no, go.
No. All I was going to say was, that's just another example of him just being, doing everything he can to put his team in the best position to win.
I mean, that play just in general is one of the greatest plays in MLB history for both teams. Literally, Pedroia makes a game-saving stop to prevent the runner from scoring, and then they throw the third. So, I mean, that was just if Saltalamacchia didn't throw that ball, we'd be talking about that play in Red Sox lore way more.
Yeah.
Like the Benintendi catch and stuff like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Dustin Pedroia, going to be a Red Sox Hall of Famer, I think, at some point. Will he coach? Will he be involved in an MLB coaching role or front office position? I don't know. Maybe in the future. Right now, he wants to be a dad. I respect that. So, enjoy retirement, Dustin Pedroia. You deserve it. Take care of that knee because you put it through hell and back, I will say. Final topic of the night, we're going to get into some Patriots and we're going to get into some NFL stuff. Boys, we have arrived at Super Bowl Sunday. Are you ready for some football? Because the biggest game of the year is upon us on Sunday, February 7th in Tampa. It's time to get your balls to feel super. Legends Lingo Podcast is sponsored by our friends at Manscaped. That's right. Our partners at Manscaped are here to tell you to join the already 2 million men who trust Manscaped products for their below-the-waist grooming needs. Take Rob Gronkowski's advice and shave your Super Balls. Use the best tools to reduce nicks and cuts before the best game and choose the Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0. Included is the Lawnmower 3.0, which is simply the best hygiene tool for the modern man. Because of their ceramic blade and skin-safe technology, your snags will be reduced. Don't settle for unnecessary roughness below the waist because guess what? That's just not going to be great. It's going to hurt a lot. It also has waterproof technology and has a 90-minute battery. Believe me when I tell you this, it's the Super Bowl champion of ball trimmers, the Tom Brady of ball trimmers, if you will. The Perfect Package 3.0 also comes with the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver. The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant to keep your nuts in the game for all 4 quarters. And the Crop Reviver is a spray-on toner for your balls. And it's made with soothing aloe and witch hazel extracts that will give your balls a boost in the clutch. Manscaped even threw in their shed travel bag to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. Speaking of comfort, the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs are also included and will bring your boxer game to the next level. Complete your top-to-bottom grooming game with the new refined Cologne Signature Scent by Manscaped, as Powder's holding it up right there. All 3 of us have it, and we all love this cologne. With the same signature scent that's in all Manscaped's formulas, this cologne is a perfect complement to the collection. It's a whole new balls game in this Super Bowl. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code LLP at manscaped.com. Your super balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code LLP at manscaped.com. Again, 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use that promo code LLP. Tackle your pubes and win the Super Bowl in your pants with Manscaped this year. To segue into our Super Bowl talk, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl for a few minutes, give our predictions, and then obviously we'll talk about little Patriots, and then we have a few announcements at the end, and we'll get out of here for tonight. Super Bowl is happening Sunday. It's the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady. It's sure to be a great game. I think the opening line is Chiefs are -3 right now. So it's a situation where this was a question that was brought up on Couch Guy Sports Podcast, and I want to ask you two this. If Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, so what looks worse essentially? Belichick because Brady won the Super Bowl without him, or Brady for not winning the big game without Belichick? That's sort of the question.
Belichick, just for the way this season went. Brady's winning with a new team. Obviously, yeah, has a lot of talent, but still, I think it's, even if Brady doesn't win, I think Belichick still looks worse this year. Not saying overall, but for this year, Belichick looks worse.
Yes.
No matter what happens, unless Brady gets like the Chiefs just run train on the Buccaneers. Like, that's the only way I think it would save Belichick a little bit, but I don't see that happening.
It's clearly Bill. I mean, he botched the entire situation, and I think that the debate between Brady and Belichick, who would be better without, just is over. Brady got back to the Super Bowl in 1 year, and it could take the Patriots. They might never get back with Belichick. That's a strong possibility. So, I mean, it's clearly Belichick. You have the greatest quarterback of all time. He was just asking for a little loyalty.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a fair question. So let me ask a follow-up question real quick. If by some chance the Patriots get back to relevancy in, let's say not next year, let's say like 2022, okay, and they make it back and they maybe have a decent run, do you change your mind at all? Or is it still Brady just won this thing? Even if he doesn't win on Sunday.
No, Brady wins because literally took Tampa Bay was the armpit of one of the armpits of the NFL to the Super Bowl with not one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, I would say. Bruce Arians is a good offensive mind, but he has his flaws, and took that team to a Super Bowl. That just explains it or not. I mean, it'll be good for Belichick's legacy if he can develop another quarterback and can get somewhere, but it'll never be as close to this. I mean, Brady clearly won.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would, unless the Patriots next year, they just get a quarterback and go right to Super Bowl and win it. Like, I think that repairs it. But if it takes a few years, I just think Brady just showed that he truly was what everybody thought he was. And Belichick, yeah, he's still a great coach, but maybe not as good as everybody truly thought he was.
Okay. So here's what I want to do. We'll make our predictions for the Super Bowl, and let's pick a score just to be fun with it. I don't know if any of the three of us are going to hit on it, but still fun to make a little score prediction. Yeah. So I'm going to go first.
You have to, because you're one game behind me. So I'll go whatever team you pick. I'll go opposite just to be fair. Give you a chance to at least tie.
You know what? You're a noble man, and we appreciate that here at Couch Guy Sports. I'm going Chiefs 31, Bucks 21. I think the Chiefs are going to take care of business. I think especially, and Fee would know this better than I would. I don't know about the status with the two starting safeties for Tampa, Winfield, and I forget the other one off the top of my head. But I don't know if they're going to play. And if that's the case, that's a couple decent losses on Tampa's defense. And I just think this offense in Kansas City is just too good to stop. Even though it's Tom Brady, even though the Bucks are at home, even though there's fans, it might be like a home game. I still think the Chiefs get it done. So Chiefs 31, Bucks 21.
Fee, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm going to go Chiefs as well. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think this game is going to be a classic. I'm going to say Chiefs 35, Bucks 33.
Ooh, a little scoregami maybe. Like it. All right, Powder.
I do think there is a chance the Bucks win, so it's not like I'm completely going against what I believe. I do think having Tom Brady there, I know how good Patrick Mahomes is, but I just think having the greatest quarterback of all time, one of the greatest athletes of all time in their sport, just a great winner, gives the Bucks a chance to win. I'm going to go Bucks 34, Chiefs 31.
Ooh, another close score. I like it. All right, so Fee and I have the Chiefs. Powder has the Bucks. We'll see what happens, but we're going to talk about a team real quick that's not in the Super Bowl. That's our New England Patriots. So, like we said in the roll call, there was a trade that went down in the NFL. Matt Stafford gone from the Lions over to the LA Rams. But the interesting thing is sources came out and said that Matt Stafford basically said that the one team that I will not accept a trade to at all is the New England Patriots. Now, obviously, a lot of fans right away are going to go to Matt Patricia is back in New England. Obviously, Matt Stafford had a bad relationship with Patricia when they were both in Detroit, which I think is true. I think that's part of it. But I think the other part of it is Matt Stafford is not a young quarterback anymore. He's 32 years old. I think he's turning 33. So he is looking for a chance to win the Super Bowl. Now, when you take a look at the two rosters that you have just between the Patriots and the Rams, if you're a quarterback and you're at the end of your career and you want your better shot of winning, who are you going to go to? You're going to go to the Rams, especially since they have a really good defense. They have some playmakers on offense too. Sean McVay, very good head coach. You know, you've been to the Super Bowl. You were in the Super Bowl like 2 years ago. So, I mean, like, I don't blame Stafford in that sense.
Turning 33 on Super Bowl Sunday, actually.
Okay, so he's going to be 33 years old. So he doesn't have much time left. And he was in a bad organization with the Lions. He wants to be in a better one. So I don't blame him for wanting to go to a winner right now. And guess what? It already seems like Sean McVay and Matt Stafford are already plotting together to see what they can do. So I'm not going to say the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl next year, but I'm just saying look out for the Rams in the NFC. That's all I'm going to say. So you guys, really quick, Matt Stafford, these comments and everything else. Let's start with Fee, then we'll go to Powder.
I mean, it wasn't just the Patriots. I know that kind of got leaked out first, but he said he didn't want to go to the Panthers, didn't want to go to the football team. I mean, yeah, it's easy to say, question, are we a destination anymore for players? I mean, it doesn't help that Patricia and him had a bad relationship. And then Danny Amendola talking about Bill Belichick all those years in Detroit to Stafford and everything. I'll just say this. I mean, the Rams are in a really win-now mode, but I'll just say this in the Lions. Yikes. Yikes. Yikes.
Right.
The Panthers offered the number 8 pick. I'm sorry. This trade felt like I want to go to Stafford's preferences, which was the Rams, the Niners, and the Colts. Niners weren't really interested. I think they're sticking they're confident in Jimmy G. We're seeing conflicting reports on that, but that's another story for another day. But I mean, I see something every day. It's like, oh, they want Jimmy. Oh, they don't want Jimmy. Oh, the players want Jimmy, but the executives don't. It's like, okay, make something happen. Yeah. But I just look at that. It's like the Rams made the right move. But where were the Colts? That team is very close to being a Super Bowl team. They're a quarterback win.
Yep.
And they didn't offer a first-round pick. If we want to briefly go over who offered what, the Panthers offered the 8th pick and this number 6 at 6th-round pick. The football team offered their first and a third. Patriots offered a second and a player. So the Patriots made a legitimate offer.
Yeah.
Colts made a legitimate offer, but didn't offer their first. I'm very confused with that, why they didn't do that, especially it was a preference. And, I mean, the Niners were never serious. But I just look at that. The Lions really – I understand making your guy that you were loyal to happy, but if you got the number 8 pick with the Lions from the Panthers, you could have been the most interesting team this offseason because you could have done anything you wanted. Screw that up. But that's
it's
Detroit
the Lions. Yeah,
team.
It's the Lions. Exactly. It's the Lions. They will never be relevant ever.
Yeah.
Since Barry Sanders retired.
Yeah, but I'll just say this. I mean, the Patriots made a legit offer. I don't think you should be mad. They offered a second round pick. So it means that any other quarterback that's going to become available, they will make an offer.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if we hear whenever Deshaun Watson gets traded, that they'll make an offer, that offer that they made gets leaked out, or anybody else who becomes available. But they're serious.
Powder?
Yeah, I can see why Stafford wanted to go somewhere else in the Patriots because he looks at them like they're not that close to Super Bowl, like you guys said. And at this point in his career, he's put up good numbers. He's been a consistent 4,000-yard passer, 30 touchdown guy. Like I've said since he became available, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Just on his stats alone, if he can add a ring to that, I think that just cements him as a Hall of Famer. So him going to somewhere that's right on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl, I think is just where he wanted to go. And he looked at the Patriots saying no way. And then obviously having Patricia in the building, even though Patricia's not a legit coach, has a different role. Still, I think him being around that, he would enjoy that.
So now Matt Stafford's off the table. He's in LA soaking up the sun. So now I guess what Patriots fans are wondering at this point, is it Jimmy Garoppolo or bust? Because I don't think Deshaun Watson's coming here. Like, I hate to say it, but I just don't see him coming here. I want him to come here. We all want him to come here, but I just don't see it happening. So is it that Jimmy G, is the guy? Or do you maybe say, all right, we don't love this, but maybe Mac Jones is somebody that we can draft at 15 and then you develop him. And, I don't even like saying this, but you maybe bring back Cam for another year, so what is the ideal situation now? If you're a Patriots fan, if you're the Patriots organization.
I'll go. So I think if you're rooting for a team to require Deshaun Watson, it's the 49ers. I think you're rooting for them, especially with the ask that the Texans are asking. They're asking for 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 young defensive players. I mean, you can make a legit offer, but it won't be nearly enough to compare to some other teams. But I mean, you can make a legit offer, and it might cause some pause because Casario knows your system better than anybody. So I wouldn't close the door completely, but it's unlikely. But yeah, root for the 49ers to acquire Watson because then that gives you Jimmy G. I mean, I wouldn't say Cam. I think that there's been enough reports that Cam could go to Washington. So I think that there's enough ground there. I got a couple of names for you besides Jimmy G and potentially Mac Jones. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
Potentially Derek Carr. There's some whispers out there that there's some whispers.
Okay.
It wouldn't be too bad. And here's another name that I'm actually think this might be the most likely scenario because they are moving on from him. Mitchell Trubisky. And I know you're saying that, but I have a feeling Bill's going to say, I can fix this kid. He's 26. Signed him to a 2-year, $32 million deal. I can fix him. I'm scared for that. I've already started to accept it, that we're going to see a tweet from Adam Schefter that's going to say, Mitchell Trubisky signs a contract with the Patriots. I'm already accepting that.
Oh, goodness.
I really think Trubisky could do what Tannehill did with the Titans and turn himself around. I think he has the talent. The Bears, they've had talent around him, but I think him being with good coaches will help him. I wouldn't mind Trubisky, in my opinion. I think he's talented, and with Belichick and the other coaches, I think he'd be fine here.
Another guy that I would love, but it'll never happen, Sam Darnold. I would take a flyer on him.
I would too.
But it'll never happen. I do want to mention another name, and I've said this before, Jalen Hurts. I mean, The Eagles got to make a decision on that quarterback room, and it seems like they're going to go with Wentz. But having both of those guys in that ecosystem is not good. But those are just my thoughts. I think those are the names you should be looking out for if Jimmy G is not available. But who knows?
Yeah.
There's going to be some fun names out there. We're going to see what happens. Another week's going to go by. and we're going to see what happens. And I just want an answer. You know, is it Jimmy? Is it going to be a guy like Mitch Trubisky? Is it going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick? Who's going to be the guy next year? That's just what I want to know. And potentially, if you get a young quarterback, who's going to be your quarterback for the next, 5 to 7 years? So it's going to be interesting. 2 quick announcements before we head out of here for the night. First off, if you listen to this, obviously, thank you. Rate and subscribe to us, Legends Lingo, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, and on iTunes. That's not the announcement. Couch Guy Sports will be doing Super Bowl squares. They are doing a Super Bowl squares contest. There are 100 squares open. Okay. Or I shouldn't say open, but there are 100 squares total. We have already filled up at least half of them. So if you want in on the action, feel free to direct message the Couch Guy Sports Twitter account at Couch Guy Sports. You can also direct message Nick Qualia, Jared Scally, or myself. $10 per square. Half of the proceeds are going to go to the winners of each quarter, and then half the proceeds are going to go to the Barstool Fund, which supports small businesses, and the Boston Rescue Mission, which takes care of homeless shelters in Boston. And it is also an organization that's very near and dear to my heart, so I'm glad that we decided to be giving to that one as well. So that is one announcement. So Super Bowl squares, if you want in on it, you know who to contact. Second, as far as the future of the show goes, I'll let the man himself say what's going on. So
by the time this is out, you probably have already read the article that I'm going to be posting. I'm going to be leaving Legends Lingo. It wasn't an easy decision, but given the other roles of podcast I've had with the Chasers and P&E, I want to pursue this. I want to thank Al and Potter. I'm going to thank them more next week, but it's just an opportunity I want to pursue, and I look forward to it. I'm going to miss the guys. I'm not going to close the door. I think we discussed this in private. We won't close the door. I mean, you could see a reunion down the line, and I'd be more than willing to come on the show and give my expertise on some stuff. If willing, and I said the same thing to them. So that's that's the decision I wanted to make. It fits my schedule a little easier, and just things I just want to pursue and grow with the other podcasts. But I know that we'll probably do more memory lane stuff next week, but I just wanted to say that.
So again, just for anybody that might have skipped over this part, Fee, for the time being, will be leaving us as a co-host. We can't thank him enough for his contributions along the way. We've said it before. He has, helped us out when Powder, had time restrictions with his job in the summer and whatnot. And then, helping me out in a big way. What Fee doesn't know that I just decided about 5 minutes ago. So you're welcome for this. Fee is going to be the host next week of the episode. It's going to be his episode. He gets to talk about the topics he wants. He gets to lead the discussion. He gets to do it all. Maybe not the Manscaped ad, because I don't know.
No, I'll leave that to you.
We know that maybe the ad read I'll stick with. But as far as next week goes, it's Fee's episode. So whatever you want to talk about, Fee, as far as, what we usually talk about, it's all you. You're the guy next week. So
all right. Well, I'm excited. And if anybody that wants to send in questions or even join us, I mean, this is a little bit of momentum change happening with the podcast. I think when people do listen, if there's any guests that want to come on, they're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's going to do it for episode 106 of the Legends Lingo podcast. Again, rate, subscribe, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. Look at us on the YouTube channel, Couch Guy Sports YouTube, and everything else that's going on. Manscaped, 20% off and free shipping with the promo code LLP. Okay, make sure to go buy some products and use our promo code. Get money off. You'd be dumb not to get money off. But if nothing else for this week, Tom Powder Cadmus, Tom Satum Facette, a.k.a. Fiesta. I'm your host, Al. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching episode 106. We'll see you next week for episode 107.
Yes, sir.